friends. I grew up in a large family and was constantly surrounded by my siblings. My younger brother in particular was a lot to handle. He would do everything from poking to prodding to punching and bruising and breaking. My parents usually never did anything about this behavior, right up until I retaliated, when they would tell me to leave him alone because he was just annoying or hurting me in order to get attention, to instigate something, and of course, to get a rise out of me. All of this to say, he was trying to make me angry, and it worked. My parents' logic was that I should not reward him with my anger, even though this is what I felt, due to actively being hurt or annoyed. But I should instead continue to let him annoy or hurt me. This was, speaking as someone who continued to work with children into my adult life, a really bad idea. My brother's behavior was never really stopped, but my anger was always quickly shut down by the adults in my life as unnecessary. So I learned not to show my anger. But I never actually learned how to not be angry at the sheer injustice of the situation. I've always been angry at how my emotions were always punished and policed. So a few years ago, when I was working as a day camp counselor, I loved working with the angry kids. The kids I was responsible for had all just finished kindergarten, so they weren't always the best at expressing their emotions. But I loved listening to them, trying to understand their feelings, what was causing their anger, and working with them to solve their problems and ensure nobody got physically hurt. Now, one of these kids who was frequently angry is someone I still think about a lot. He was really into superheroes, so let's call him T'Challa because his blackness is relevant to the story. Now, all of T'Challa's stress, and in fact most of his emotions, would often manifest in anger that would just melt. And whenever he was angry, he was unable to do anything, even the things he wanted to do. Once, when T'Challa was angry, he crawled under a table to be alone. I left him alone to calm down for a few minutes before crawling under the table next to him to talk about what was going on. I don't remember what was making him angry that time. I remember that we talked about the Avengers. He liked the Hulk because the Hulk was allowed to be angry, and he used that anger to help people. I talked to T'Challa one-on-one dozens of times over the summer about how it is okay to be angry. How anger is just a feeling, but you shouldn't hurt people because you are angry. I think before we parted ways, we found a few ways that he could use his anger for good, or at least for neutral causes. I knew that our anger could be used against us. My anger as an Asian woman could be used to dismiss me, to have people write me off as too emotional to be taken seriously, or to assume leadership roles. But I knew his anger as a young black boy could one day be used as a justification to hurt him. It was pretty recently that I realized that the emotion I have been feeling all of the time for my entire life is anger. I thought I was just sad, but as it turns out, I'm a complex human being able to hold multiple feelings at one time. And constantly being punished for expressing my anger made me learn to stop expressing my anger. But it never went away, so I just expressed sadness. I'm done with that now. I'm angry. I'm angry at injustice. I'm angry with the misogyny and racism I've experienced my whole life. I'm definitely angry at the systems that say it is acceptable to pay workers below a living wage, at the existence of rape culture, and at a broken immigration system that separates children from their families and locks them in cages. I'm angry that it is legal to fire me and deny me housing in most of America over my sexual orientation and gender. I'm enraged that even expressing my anger now over these inhumane systems we've built that are actively leaving people to die preventable deaths now will probably result in some dude telling me that my anger makes me unlikable or unattractive, and that my anger is really an unnecessary contribution and response to this topic. But let me assure you, my anger is a reasonable and justifiable response to the entire state of the whole world right now. Anger is fueling me. It has always fueled so much of who I am. My activism, my comedy, my research, even my optimism is fueled in part by my anger, because the only reason I'm this angry is because I know we can and should be doing better. To paraphrase author Rebecca Traister, my anger is often an exuberant expression. It is a force that injects energy, intensity, and urgency into battles that must be intense and urgent if they are to be won. My rage is valid, rational, and it does not make me ugly, hysterical, marginal, or laughable to experience it. I'm mad as hell, and I'm going to use it to make the world better. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Tell me in the comments about something that makes you angry. It can be as petty or as serious as you want. I would still like to hear it. And if you want to see more from me, please subscribe, watch another video of mine, or support me on Patreon. And hey, I love you.